Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's class is class number 21 of the Extreme Beginner series. In the last class, we looked at the Add Object tool, which helps us block out entire scene very easily. If anyone missed that class, they can click on the link in the description to watch that class. In today's class, we will be looking at duplicate and link duplicate, and we will explore the difference between them. As you may know, in Blender, to duplicate any object or create its copy, we usually press Shift plus D. Now if I select the cube and press Shift plus D, the cube will be duplicated. And you can see in the outliner that cube 001 has been created. When you click on the small arrow next to any object, it will show the data of that object. In Blender, when you create any object, a container for it is created in the outliner, and within that container the data of the object resides. This container represents the light, and if you click on the arrow next to the light, it will display the data related to the light. Similarly, the camera also has its own container in which the camera data is stored. Here you can see that the object I duplicated has its own separate data. This means it is a completely different object with no connection to the original object. And due to separate data, the computer will need to calculate each one separately. When you duplicate an object using Alt plus D, it creates a linked duplicate. This means that although the object appears duplicated in the outliner, the data will still be linked to the original cube. And because of data for the both object will be the same, we will save resources because the computer will not need to calculate separate data for each one. It will only need to calculate one set of data for both objects. Now we can use it in two ways. We can transform it in object mode in any way. We can rotate, move or scale without affecting the original. But when we go to edit mode and make changes, those changes will be applied to the original object as well, because we are working on its data in edit mode and the data is the same for both objects. Usually linked duplicate can be very beneficial. For example, if we have an object that is being used multiple times in a scene, we can create a linked duplicate of it. This way we can change its size and place it in the scene. And if we need to edit its shape later, we can edit one instance and those changes will be reflected in all the other linked objects as well. For example, I have this scene where I have designed a low poly road and tree. I will duplicate this tree and place it in different locations along the sides of the road. So I will create a linked duplicate because the first benefit will be that the data will remain the same, which means the file will not be heavy and the PC will not have to calculate it separately. If I were to duplicate it by pressing Shift plus D, now you would see that separate data is created for each object. This means the computer will have to calculate each object and its data separately. But if I create linked duplicates using Alt plus D, you will see that all the copies will share the same data, which means the computer only needs to calculate one set of data. This way you can save resources. Additionally, we can transform each object separately, and if we need to make any changes to the shape, we can make the changes in edit mode on one object and those changes will be applied to all objects. We can use linked duplicate in this way. I hope you have understood today's class. We will meet again in the next class. Until then, goodbye and take care.